All right, I'm recording my Audacity. Gonna, slap my calf. There we go.
What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the Nintendo Tonight podcast. I am here with Mac and Sleepy Thomas, as you can see.
Yeah, he's sleeping in the corner. He's, doesn't do any work on the channel. It's kind of fucked up, but
it's okay, dude. Switch click and we'll cover it up. It's okay. Family-friendly podcast. Anyway, welcome back to Nintendo Tonight. Thomas is not here. He went on vacation. He ditched us, so that happened.
And I'm also on vacation. This is definitely not my... But, I'm putting in the work. It was
the worst time possible. Thomas
decided
decided to just ditch us, so...
Yeah.
Also, we actually have another picture of Thomas, which I'll show up on the screen right now. We will do that. As you can see, I'm going to move the text a little bit. That there's that. So yeah,
awesome.
Just because he dipped on us.
That's only for the visual listeners, but we actually prefer audio listeners. So
remember when we said that we hate audio listeners?
The audio losers, actually.
Audio losers.
Audio losers. That was a bit and a half right there.
That was a good one. Anyway, so in today's episode, obviously the Mario movie just came out, so this episode is going to be pretty much entirely revolving around the movie. So we're going to have 3 different segments today. We're first going to talk about our non-spoiler review for everybody who has not seen the movie, give our thoughts on it without obviously talking about anything that really spoils the plot. Then we're going to give our spoiler thoughts, and we will give you guys a massive disclaimer because, we don't want any angry commenters saying, how dare you spoil the movie? So we will definitely do that. And if you're not interested in that, then just click off, go watch it and come back. And lastly, we are going to do a tier list with a bunch of different Nintendo franchises that we would like to see eventually come to the big screen and rank them on how well they could work, how much we want to see them and stuff like that. So without further ado, Mac, you want to just get right into it, dude?
Let's get right into it. I'm not really sure how we talk about it without talking about the spoilers, but you kind of just
I think we talk about how we think the movie did in terms of our initial thoughts, because when we first had the movie announced, right? We have the cast and we have the Chris Pratt and us just dying of laughter and being like, oh my god, this is so bad. Yeah. So we can talk about some of the castings and how that aged and stuff like that first, if you want.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I think most of the voice acting was decent. Obviously, it probably wasn't the best they could have gotten had they just gotten a normal voice actor that does that for a living instead of celebrity casting. But I think most of them did a pretty fine job in my opinion. There were a few characters in my opinion that just their voices did not match what I expected them to sound like. Specifically, can I bring one up?
Sure.
Cranky Kong, his voice, I don't know, it felt a lot goofier than I would suspect a Cranky Kong would be. Coming back to playing the Donkey Kong Country games, I just didn't expect Cranky Kong was a lot goofier than I expected him to be. But it's also a kids movie, so I guess I don't know. That was probably the only voice in my opinion that was completely off for me. I think Chris Pratt in particular, he did fine. He did the Chris Pratt voice, but it was what we all kind of expected, and I think it fit Mario because Mario's such a base character, and Chris Pratt's he's base human, I guess. I don't know really. It's just yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, what do you think about the voice acting?
I actually liked it. I really didn't hate it. I'm with you on Cranky Kong. Obviously, we won't talk about any characters that are not shown in trailers, slash to the public. Cranky Kong, for sure, it was I'm not sure how I expected him to sound, but not that, I guess. I don't know, it was kind of weird, but it went fine. Chris Pratt, I also didn't mind that. I was hating on it a little bit in the beginning, but it really wasn't that bad. There was some parts where, we see in the trailer, and I'm saying this because we've seen this for months, where they're on Rainbow Road and then Chris Pratt hits the Wahoo or whatever, and it wasn't that bad, it wasn't that bad.
Well, I think they actually redid the Wahoo from the trailer to the movie.
Right.
I think it was a different
I did see
Wahoo,
that on Twitter.
Which is
I saw that on Twitter.
Yeah, and in particular, a few people that I think did an actual really good job at their voice acting was Jack Black as Bowser. I thought his Bowser was perfect.
It's so good. It was so good. Yeah.
It was so good, especially one scene in particular that I thought was like hilarious. Yep. And then Charlie Day as Luigi. I thought his Luigi was spot on. It was literally just Charlie Day's voice, but also I feel like, you know, it just perfectly. Really worked. It fit perfectly for like what Luigi was in the movie. So yeah, I was honestly like blown away by like the voice acting. I was much better than what I ever expected it to be.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked it. Another actress actually that I didn't bring up was Anya Taylor-Joy as Peach. I personally think Peach absolutely carried this movie. Again, no spoilers.
Oh yeah.
But Peach carried the movie. Like literally, probably this might be a massive hot take, but like probably my favorite character in the movie. Like she just went off. Like it was just like she ran everything.
A lot of really cool scenes we'll talk about later that, you know, specifically Peach was in.
Yeah. Of course, Mario gets the spotlight, but it's like Peach had a lot of like badass scenes where it was like, damn, like I didn't know that this character was like that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I'm definitely glad. If you see in the trailers, you know that, you know, she's not the captured one in this movie. And I think that was definitely the right decision. I think giving Peach more screen time in this was actually a great decision, in my opinion. Just because I think what they did with her character was really, really good.
And I like how, opposed to the games where it's like this damsel in distress, like, Mario, help me, it was like, it was more focused. I'm trying so hard, like, to dance around.
It's hard talking about it without spoilers,
it was like,
but yeah, it's fun.
It was cool how they focused on her being like the princess of the Mushroom Kingdom.
I completely agree with that.
More or less than, you know, like
her being a leader,
being like the oh my god, help me. It was I really liked that. Yeah. I think it was sick.
Yeah, I thought she did a really, really good job. And I'm trying to think if there's any like other characters. Oh, Donkey Kong. What do you think about Seth Rogen's Donkey Kong?
Okay, so this was really funny because his laugh, it's like
it was literally just Seth Rogen.
Exactly, and Seth Rogen's laugh is hilarious. Like it's it's literally like an AI. It's the most hilarious thing, and it works. But perfectly.
It weirdly worked. It weirdly worked.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of something interesting about all these characters. Like, you know, Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, Charlie Day as Luigi, Jack Black as Bowser. They're all kind of doing their own shtick, but it worked for the characters they were playing. So it you knew that it was them voice acting. We all knew that coming into it, but it weirdly worked like very well. Even Chris Pratt, like, you know, he did the Chris Pratt voice, but it was like it works for Mario. So like, you know,
which is so weird because, you know, we've heard Mario's like voice for years, but like not actually hear him talk in like an animated sense. And you know, it worked. Like I don't hate it. So I wonder Sleepy Thomas's thoughts on this. Thomas? I guess he's still
I don't
sleeping.
think he has much to say. Also, another thing you brought up was like, you brought up talking about like not hearing them like talk much in the games, but also we don't get to see their facial expressions much in the games. In this movie, their facial expressions are a lot. And at some points it felt very like weird. Like there's some points in the movie where it felt like it was like a guy in a costume, because I've seen Mario as a guy in a costume so many times. But it's weird seeing them be like, you know, like have like just moving on his own, like with different facial expressions. It threw me off at points, but also I feel like it was kind of just needed to be done for this movie to work. So not really a hindrance to the movie, but just like a weird like feeling I had while watching the movie.
Yeah, definitely. So what's your opinion on like the Rotten Tomatoes score? Because I think that
it's so odd. Okay,
it is kind of odd. I just want to say this one thing really quick. I saw this thing on Twitter. This is completely out of context, but how I perceived it when I first like saw this clip was your typical like film bro trying to like you know, talk about the movie or whatever. And this person was saying that the Mario and Luigi relationship seems really forced. It's like
they're literally brothers.
And they, again, not a spoiler, but this is very focused on.
That's like saying
in the early part of the movie.
That's like saying Anna and Elsa in Frozen is forced because they're sisters. But no, that's literally just the dynamic of, you know, siblings. Like
Yeah, so I didn't really get that.
I think the Rotten
people were
Tomatoes
definitely
score,
trying to.
I think, comes from the fact that most of these reviewers just aren't video game fans.
Exactly.
I feel like this movie works for two kinds of people. It works for, children, and it works for video game fans. And I feel like if you're not one of those two, you're still gonna enjoy the movie, but you're not gonna enjoy it as much as, one of those two groups, because, there's lots of Easter eggs and just little references in this movie that, like, make me so happy when I look at it. It's like, oh, that's so cool. And then as a kid, you're just gonna love pretty colors and stuff, so it's gonna be a good movie anyways. But I could definitely see where the score came from, because there are some pitfalls to it for sure. It's not a perfect movie whatsoever, but
of course not.
What was the score, like 59?
I think the last time, this is being recorded on April 7th, I think the critic score, not the audience score, was a 59, I believe. So
yeah, that seems a little low for me, but also I kind of get where they're coming from in a way, because there are some things where I could see, like, a film critic being like, oh, this movie is, so elementary or whatever, but it's a good movie. I think
it's literally
if you're going into it expecting to see a Mario movie, which you should, because it's the Mario movie, then you're going to enjoy it. If you go in expecting cinema or whatever these people call it, then you're not going to enjoy it as much as somebody with, like, lower expectations would have. So
agreed. Yeah, I mean, and we'll get into the Easter eggs when we talk about the spoiler review, but, like, there are a lot of references that, like, you pick up on if you're, like, a Mario or even, like, a Nintendo fan. Like, you pick up on this stuff, and, like, normal moviegoers, like, won't be able to, like, appreciate it for sure. Yeah, I mean, I felt like this movie was a complete love letter to Mario fans. Like, there were so many references, and, like, across
the
all
amount
of
of
the
Easter
games,
eggs in this movie is
was
insane. Like, literally every, like, few seconds you see, like, something happen, or you hear like a sound effect, or, like, Miyamoto definitely, like, was, like, heavily involved in this.
He was cooking.
Like, yeah, because there's just so much to this movie that, like, you'll go back and watch later on and be like, oh, I didn't notice that the first time. Oh, I didn't notice that. And they really knocked a lot of stuff out of the park here.
Yeah, this just felt like a complete love letter. Like, you can see when you're watching the movie, there's so many references from all of, like, the games. Like, you have, like, 3D World and, like, other games, and I'm only saying 3D World because we know from the trailer the cat suit is in the movie, and we saw from the clip that's on YouTube of when Mario goes to the Mushroom Kingdom, we see the clear pipe. So just, like, that game in particular I'll bring up. It's like, obviously there's so many references from so many different games, and it's like, it's your childhood, at least for me. Like, I'm pretty sure it was for you as well. It's like, you see these characters, like, on the big screen, and it's like, wow. Like, it's just amazing. It was great. It was great. And, like, again, we'll go back to the audience score. It was like, normal Mario fans, video game fans, and stuff like that, like, will appreciate this for, like, everything it has in it. But, like, if you're going to review it as, like, like a film bro or whatever we would want to like classify that type of, like, film watcher, like, you're not. It's just like a kid's movie.
Also, it's an Illumination film. If you go into this expecting anything more than, like, what their highest bar is, which I think is, like, Despicable Me, then you're going to be disappointed. This movie, I think, is probably one of their better movies in their lineup of movies. I think Despicable Me actually may be better than this movie. Hot take. I think it's kind of carried a lot of ways with the Easter eggs sometimes.
Yeah.
It's got a very, very simple plot, but also,
it does.
Mario games have a simple plot, so, why would they, make it more complicated than it needs to be, because it didn't need to be more complicated. They did what they said they were going to do, and I think they did a pretty good job.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, like, I felt that way too, because initially going into the movie, I didn't really have a lot of, like, thoughts for it. I was just, like, excited to see all this stuff on the screen. But in terms of, like, the plot, like, I can see where it just kind of, like, people will be critical of it, because it kind of, like, jumps from one thing to another, and it's like, wait, how did we get here? Where is this?
It's very fast paced.
For sure. And it's like, I understand that because, like, I'm a Mario fan, and, like, I'm a huge Nintendo fan, but it's like, again, your regular person, run of the mill like moviegoer or just like kid maybe like might be a little confused. But like again, that's not like a knock on it or anything. It's just like trying to understand like other people's perspectives and stuff. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. And to your Despicable Me point, like I'm not very familiar with like Illumination's like kind of catalog of movies. Like I know what they've done, but I haven't like seen a lot of them. So I can't really speak on that. But I know that another complaint was that there was a lot of slow motion shots, which is kind of like an Illumination kind of staple. And I can see where it was coming from, but I didn't.
If I go back and watch it, I'd probably notice it more. But
I mean, if I didn't look at Twitter and saw that point, like I wouldn't have known that either. But like I've saw that complaint as well. But like overall, I loved it for everything that it was. I pretty much have no complaints, and I'm super excited for like what the future could potentially bring for like
100%.
Mario on the big screen. Like it's just so exciting. Like you just cannot even believe like the day is finally here, kind of thing. You know? So
I know.
It was great.
All right. Do we
What's
want
your
to
final
move on
thoughts?
to our final thoughts?
Just give the final thoughts, and then we can go.
I'll go very quickly. I think the movie is a good Mario movie. It's the best Mario movie we've had, out of the two. And I don't know. I went in expecting a good movie, and I got a good movie. I wasn't going in expecting a masterpiece, and I'm glad I didn't, because it's what it needed to be. In my opinion, it didn't do more than it was like expected to do. So that's kind of my thoughts with the movie.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean,
all right.
I think it was just like a really positive experience all around. Like it was great.
Yeah, for sure.
Loved it.
Yeah. Yep.
Really wish Thomas, the sleepy one, could enlighten us a little bit with his takes. Yeah, I don't know where he is, man. He's like he might be muted or something. I don't know. Anyway.
Odd.
Yeah. I mean, we can get into spoiler thoughts though if you want.
Oh, I would love to talk about spoilers.
Okay, so everybody listening or watching, I just want to do the little disclaimer quick, and then we'll get right into it. So we're going to talk about spoilers for the movie now. So if you've not seen it, or you do not want to hear anything spoilery, please do not complain. Click off the video. Talking spoilers now. You have been warned. Okay, so go ahead.
Do we just want to talk about like in order,
everything.
Like what our favorite parts of the movie? Like
so the first scene, Italian restaurant, seeing Giuseppe, I think his name is, and also Mario's dad is voiced by Charles Martinet. So I think that was pretty cool. I saw that in the
Mario's
credits.
dad was voiced by
so I looked through the credits and I saw that so that was pretty cool. I only picked it up on Giuseppe. And that's it.
That's interesting. The Mario family was very interesting in my opinion, because
I was really not expecting it at all.
We've really only known Mario and Luigi, and I was kind of thrown off because you see all these other characters that have like the same kind of Mario face, but aren't Mario and Luigi. So it's kind of like it kind of opens up the door for like in a video game seeing different Mario characters come out of the woodwork. Yeah,
because these characters exist now. Like, why not? I mean. Yeah, I don't know if he would even make sense, but it is cool. When I heard Luigi talk about like his parents, I was like, "Wait a second, are we about to? Are we?" I was so thrown off. I was like, "Oh my god! Like this is Mario's house and Mario's family." It's like, oh my god,
Yeah, that was so interesting. And then probably my favorite thing they did in the entire movie was when they got their first call for like a job. And they're like platforming over like the different alleyways in Brooklyn or whatever.
Illumination cooked on that animation.
Oh my god, that scene was probably my favorite scene in the entire movie, because it was just like I filled me with so much joy, and I had just gotten into the movie, like it was the beginning, and at the very end when he goes down the burger place's like flagpole or whatever, it's not like a flagpole, but it was a pole. It was just like.
It was like the little music. It was the level finish music or whatever. It was like, it was like the top of the flag, like sound effect or whatever. And it's like, that's a nice touch. Like it was filled with that kind of stuff. It was great.
And the entire movie, once I saw that, I was like, okay, they know what they're doing here. I'm not as nervous as I was going into it after seeing that. Yeah. And just the there's Easter egg after Easter egg after Easter egg in this.
Everywhere.
Like, did you notice that Luigi's ringtone was the GameCube? Like,
Oh my god,
just, like,
they cooked. Oh.
Just all over the place, all over the place. There's so much packed in this movie.
Yep.
Yeah. But one scene that probably is my least favorite scene in the entire movie that just felt like so odd and out of place was the dog in the bathroom, like, messing with Mario and Luigi.
It was it was so funny. It was like straight up something out of Illumination's
Is that a character
playbook.
from, like, Secret Life of Pets or something? It felt so Illumination just watching it.
I felt the same way. It was funny.
I was after that scene happened, I was like, oh my god, I was getting nervous. And then after that, there really wasn't anything like that in the movie, so it was fine. But it was, like, so frustrating because you want Mario and Luigi to succeed there, and just it was such a weird scene, that whole thing.
But I also felt that way. Like, I wanted them to succeed and be like, oh, like, they're successful or whatever. But then I realized, I was like, wait, I don't want them to succeed, because if they succeed, they don't go to quote-unquote save Brooklyn, and they don't get trapped in a random warp pipe, and they don't technically go to Mushroom Kingdom, you know? Yeah, so it's like...
That is true.
It all worked out. So, like, when they went down the pipe, I was like, oh, okay. So that made a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Also, something that you'll like, in the Italian restaurant, I don't know if you caught it. I know specifically in the final Bowser fight, when they get sent back from the Mushroom Kingdom, like, back to Brooklyn, I know that when Mario is hiding in the restaurant, like, behind the seats or whatever, there's, like, a little Punch-Out logo. I'm not sure if that was originally in the restaurant, or if that was, like, later on this was, like, shown, but there was a little Punch-Out logo, so I think that was, like, a nice little touch as well.
There was a picture of Little Mac. Or no, it wasn't Little Mac, it was it Glass Joe? I think it was Glass Joe. And, like, when you see the Charles Martinet, like, OG Mario playing, like, on the arcade game, right behind him is Glass Joe, like, as, like, framed on the wall. There was a lot of Punch-Out references in the movie, which, you know, gets me so excited.
Yeah, because you love that.
Because Punch-Out's, like, it's not my favorite Nintendo series, but it's, like, probably the one I've got, like, you know, I don't know. I just love it so much. A lot of memories with. I remember I played through the entirety of Punch-Out. Well, not the entirety, because I still have not been Mike Tyson, which, you know, not going to get into that. But I played through the entirety on a ROM on my laptop in English class in 10th grade.
That's funny.
Just playing on, like, my keyboard or whatever.
Impressive.
But yeah, it was. But yeah, we could literally go through every single Easter egg in this entire movie, and we'd take, like, 2 hours.
Yeah.
But I don't think we should do that, because I feel like, you know, that's just, like, there's plenty of videos out there that do that. But let's just talk about, like, certain like, things that happened in the movie that, you know, made you feel a certain way. So firstly, I just want to talk about, what was your thoughts on the random 80s rock music?
I also thought that. I feel like it was very Illumination and very, like, mainstream, like, animation kind of thing. But I also understand where it came from, and it was like, I didn't hate it where it was used, because it was, like, riddled with, like, Mario music everywhere. So it's not like it felt like it was some, like, industry plant kind of thing.
I feel like this was some weird quota that Illumination needed to have in this movie, because it was like, I feel like that's a staple in Illumination movies. Like, if you've ever, like, seen, like, Sing or Secret Life of Pets, they're riddled with just random pop music throughout. Well, Sing is, like, you know, based around pop music, so, you know. But, you know, it's just, there's a lot of, like, different weird montages in this movie where, like, you know, there's Take On Me randomly playing when they get into, you know, the Jungle Kingdom.
And I didn't
calling it the
hate
Jungle
that.
Kingdom. Calling it the Jungle Kingdom is super interesting, because it, like, you know, what if there's a Mario Odyssey 2 and you got the Kongs there in the Jungle Kingdom? I'm just saying.
Interesting. I didn't even think about it like that.
Immediately when I heard Kingdom, I was like, you know, yeah, okay. What do you gotta say?
Yeah, wow. It was a lot. So that is interesting in and of itself. Like, could we see, like, the Kongs in, like, you know, that kingdom in, like, the next, like, Mario Odyssey game? Yeah. Interesting. Because we have Mayor Pauline. Pauline is the mayor of Brooklyn, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, I wish it was New Donk City, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah. I get how they did that, or like why they did that, because like New Donk is just New York, but
yeah,
it's fine because you kind of connect like real world versus like whatever the other world is. Like they didn't really like get into that. There's just like a random warp pipe that takes you to the fun land. So I don't know. Again, kids movie. Like, you know, we're not expecting some deep plot line here. So Mayor Pauline, that was kind of interesting. I saw from like a leak or something that Pauline was in the movie. So when I like saw her there, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And seeing like Mario, Peach, and Toad like go through like all of the different like kingdoms, I guess you want to call it. Like when you see the Yoshis.
I hate that was a montage. I hate that it was a montage because in the trailer you see Toast Arena and you see the little you also Yoshis
saw
running by.
Toast Arena in the movie for a minute.
Yeah, we saw it in the trailer, and then you saw it for about the same amount of time that you saw it in the trailer in the movie. I wish they were going there, but you know.
I hope they explore that like in a next movie, because like you know we'll get to the post-credit scenes, but like there will be like a next movie, so you know fun.
Okay.
God.
Do we want to talk about Bowser's piano scene? What are your thoughts on
piano scenes? So
scenes, true.
Yeah, so okay, this is kind of funny. So I listen to like a lot of like hip hop rap or whatever. There's this guy Cole Bennett. He does like a bunch of like rap music videos and stuff. With like, you know, all these big rappers, stuff like that. And what do I go to my subscription feed yesterday and see? Peach's Jack Black / Bowser music video came out today by Cole Bennett, this guy that makes rap music videos now that has been hired by Nintendo, I think. So
he made the song?
No, he didn't like make the song. He's like making or producing the music video. It's just like kind of cool. It was like,
that's
so
neat.
Yeah, it was it was kind of funny. We also found out about Peaches from like a Jack Black like accidental leak, I guess.
Oh, really? I didn't know
because
about
on Twitter he like tweeted out a picture. I don't know if he was in a Bowser costume or something like that, but like it was him, and then there was like music sheets in the back, and the title of the song was Peaches, and you could see a bunch of like the sheet of music there. So what people did is they went into like one of those programs where you can like, you know, play that stuff, and they like made the song. Yeah, they like made part of the song, whatever we saw.
That's crazy.
So like I heard that and I was like, whoa, like people are talented.
That's honestly so interesting. Huh. That's crazy that it got leaked by sheet music, and then people read the sheet music and then, you know, actually like
played it. And then
that's honestly
like,
that's so funny. That is so funny.
I think that happened like a week ago, maybe a bit less than that, but anyway.
I've had everything muted on Twitter leading up to the movie, so I'm luckily I didn't get spoiled for that, but that's very interesting.
I think Peaches the song, I think that was hilarious because it was like we see like the Odyssey kind of like part of the storyline or whatever, like Bowser trying to get married to Peach and like forcing her into marriage and stuff like that, and it's like you know, he has like the little Easter egg from Odyssey where he has like the same like top hat or whatever, which is interesting. Like there's just so much, my brain goes everywhere, because if Bowser has that, like what if Mario eventually gets Cappy, like I don't know, you know, who knows if that's even a thing.
True.
I mean, they're not the same power, but
interesting. It's super interesting because this movie, like, it's got like Mario stuff from like the entire series, but its plot is very similar to Mario Odyssey's plot.
Odyssey, yeah.
It's very similar because he's going from kingdom to kingdom, you know, and he stole the Power Star or whatever, and then he goes and tries to marry Peach. I just think that's like super interesting that they went with the Mario Odyssey story route, because you know, we haven't heard anything about, you know, a Mario 3D game in, you know, years since 2017 with, you know, Odyssey coming out. So maybe I'm not even going to bring it up, you know, an Odyssey 2 like would be awesome. But let's keep talking about the movie. What were your thoughts on the the scene where Peach goes in to like get married with Bowser, and then she pulls out the ice flower.
Ice flower out of the bouquet. That was so sick. It was so sick. Like,
that was probably one of the sickest. Like that was like so out of the blue, and I loved that. I loved that.
It was
so much.
hype when like she froze Bowser or whatever, and then she turned around into like, you know, obviously the crowd of people like there for the wedding, aka like Bowser's minions, and just completely like
obliterates them.
Obliterated them. Like just with,
and then
like,
blows up
huge
King
blast,
Bob-omb. Like is so funny.
That was like, it was genius.
Yeah,
so good, man. Damn. Yeah, that was great.
Okay, I think the best action sequence of the entire movie has got to be Mario and Donkey Kong's fight. Do you agree with that?
Oh God, no. I think that was a top two, dude. Super Mario and Super Luigi versus Bowser at the end, dude. That's gotta.
No, that's a good point. I loved because they did the remix of the Superstar like music playing in the background while they're defeating Bowser. That was a good scene. But
there's like so many good moments. Like you see them like, or you see like the glimmer of the rainbow like in the smoke, and like Peach is like, oh my God, Mario, and then they like come out of the smoke, and like Luigi is like, you know, he's him right now, and he's just like coming out, and he's like kicking Bowser's head in. It's like, man, so good. And they had like combos and stuff like that. It was a nice little like Mario and Luigi like games kind of reference, I guess it could be. I don't know.
Yeah,
just great. There's just like so much good to say.
But the scene with Mario as Cat Mario doing all of the like, you know, scratching, and then just like the dive that comes straight out of 3D World, like
God.
Oh my God, I loved that scene. I just thought the action in that one was like so perfect, and then he like accidentally gets like the tiny mushroom. I think that was like so cool how many power-ups they incorporate in this movie, because I think most of the like main power-ups are there. You got the Superstar, you got the you got the normal mushroom, you got Cat Mario, you got Tanuki Mario, you got the Ice Flower, you got the Fire Flower, you got Tiny Mushroom.
Fact, after you're done that, go ahead. I think Tiny Mushroom. I can't think. Superstar, obviously, but yeah.
Superstar, I can't think of any more, but I feel like those are like the main ones you think of, for sure.
Fun fact, Donkey Kong and Peach use the Fire Flower during the movie, but Mario does not. I was shocked, because like I just kind of realized that like he never got it. There was one point where he like in the DK fight when they were in like I'm blanking. Kong Kingdom, what did they call it again? I've literally forgot.
Jungle Kingdom.
When like, you know, Mario and DK were fighting in the arena, and like Mario almost got a Fire Flower, and then like DK was behind him, he didn't know, and he like blew it out. I think that was a super cool effect as well, because like he blew out like the fire or whatever in it. It was like, wow. But we didn't see Fire Mario, which is so strange, because that's one of his most iconic like appearances, you know?
Besides the, you know, normal Super Mushroom, that's probably the second biggest power up in the entire series. But I think it was fine, because they showed off like so many different power ups in this movie that Mario didn't need to use all of them within the movie. So I think that was perfectly fine in my opinion. But just again, the attention to detail that was put into this movie is just like absolutely astounding. Like, something I want to talk about is, what do you think about the runtime and how quickly things move in this movie? Because I feel like that's its biggest flaw. It doesn't let anything simmer like whatsoever. It's just like, okay, he meets Peach, and then they're like, there's no like, you know, tension or anything. It's like, okay, we're going to the Jungle Kingdom immediately. They had just met. There's no time for him to like, you know, explore the Mushroom Kingdom. It's a montage getting there. You know, it's a montage getting to, you know, Cranky Kong in the Jungle Kingdom. It doesn't ever like let things, you know, simmer, as I said, in my opinion.
Okay, so here's my point of view on it. So like, I agree with you, because we are adults, right? And it's like, you kind of would like to see some more like storytelling and like world building a little bit. But again, the reality of this is that this is a kids movie. And
they did the Mr. Beast editing. They were editing for retention.
Exactly. So literally. So you gotta like kind of realize that getting kids to like stay in one place for like an hour and a half is like very difficult. Like they are, you know, they're very like, you know, moving around like all the time. Like for example, like the people beside me, like there was like I was sitting next to a mom, and then next to her were a bunch of kids. They were like scrambling around like the entire time.
It was ridiculous.
Like,
my theater
I mean,
was
because
actually
we
insane.
we're like the minority, like in the
But
movie
it was
theater, because it's like
crazy.
it's adults.
I went at the
It's a kids movie.
I went at the exact wrong time of the day. I went at 4:30. Like, you know,
Oh,
it's
no.
it's spring break where I am. So it was literally all like kids. I was probably like the like youngest like adult there that wasn't like a parent. And it was frustrating because there were many parts in the movie where they're like just kids screaming and running around for no reason in a movie theater. It was ridiculous. But you know, I'm 21 years old. Like, you know, what can I expect? What can I expect going to a Mario movie? You know, like
Exactly. And I think that's part of the runtime issue that you maybe had. Like, again, they gotta
also
like
the
get
parents
through.
should, you know, get their kids to behave better at movie theaters. It was ridiculous.
Not wrong, but you're really not wrong. Like, I agree with you, but I'm just saying the reality of it is like that's definitely why, because you know, kids. It's a kid moment. So you know, I like it didn't affect like the movie in and of itself for me. Like, I didn't think it needed like another half hour. Like, maybe like 10 minutes. I think if it had like 10 minutes more, it would be like perfect time, probably, because like there's maybe a couple of things you could have done.
I think it definitely it definitely was the right decision to make it less than 2 hours. But I think it could have been like an hour 45, hour 50 in my opinion. I think an hour 27 is what I think it is, like like in total. It's just way too short in my opinion. I feel like there were just like some parts of the movies where it's just like they montaged instead of, you know, exploring, which I feel like was a misstep in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the story was really set like from the beginning. Like, I don't know, I think it might have been 20 minutes in when Luigi and Mario got split down the warp pipe or whatever. And then like we knew like the mission was rescue Luigi, like Mario was eventually going to have to stop Bowser. Like, we know exactly what's going to happen, like, you know, 20 minutes in. And
what do you think, Thomas? Sorry.
He's going, you just sleepy Thomas over there. By the way, for audio listeners, I will explain. So the whole bit of that is that
Thomas is sleeping right now in his room because he doesn't show up for anything. So
the actual bit is that Thomas is on vacation and couldn't make the podcast. So while we were away in Boston at PAX East, Thomas fell asleep sitting in like this floor chair thing that he has in like his house or whatever, and he was just like asleep with his mouth open. He's just like, he was knocked out. So like I took a picture and then we got Sleepy Thomas for this episode. So anyway, back to the movie. I'm trying to think of like
I just like
Easter
going
eggs
on tangents on here. I derail the podcast all the time. Yeah, but you know, I don't know. I think the movie it did what it was supposed to do in my opinion. I don't think there was like, again, my adult brain, you know, wanted like more time to it and more, you know, depth. It's a very like not shallow, but like simple movie. There's not like too much that you can dive back into besides looking at the different Easter eggs. But I guess that's kind of where, you know, my fun from the movie came. Just looking at the cool Easter eggs like throughout the movie. I don't know. I think I definitely, now that I think about it, talking about it, I understand why Rotten Tomatoes decided, like the film critics decided to give it that score, even if I don't agree, because, you know, I got a bias because I am a Nintendo fan, so I was going to go in and enjoy it somewhat no matter what. But if you're going into this and you're not, if you're a parent and you're bringing your kids to the movie, you'll enjoy it. But if you're like just a random adult who's like wants to go see a movie, it's probably not the movie for you unless you're like a Nintendo fan or even a video game fan, in my opinion. But
agreed for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see if there's any other things from the movie we can touch on before we get into that post-credit scene.
Well, we'll go. I've got one more thing. What do you think about the Mario Kart scene?
I was gonna bring that up, and I'm like, my mind is like going through so many things because like I got out of the movie like 2 hours ago, so it's like fresh off my mind. So it's like it's just like a lot of thoughts all at the same time. Mario Kart scene was so sick. So first of all,
So good.
how it goes, I'm just gonna re-explain to anybody. Is Mario obviously wins against DK, so Cranky takes them, and says like we need carts or whatever. So there's a cart customizer like there is in Mario Kart 8, and like Mario, Toad, and Peach are like spinning or whatever, and they get their like signature carts from like like all the games.
You
like,
realize when they were spinning it was the item box roulette sound effect.
Yep.
Like the attention
Oh
to
my
detail and all
God,
those little things.
it's
It's just
so
it's
good.
so good.
So good.
And
And then,
but anyways,
like they got their carts and everything, and then Toad has like this big ass truck, which I think was hilarious. So obviously, they go from the Jungle Kingdom, then off this slope or whatever, and then obviously they go to Rainbow Road, which was like so good. Like it needed to be in the movie, and I'm so glad they incorporated it like in a good way.
Yeah.
And like they touched on like all of the Mario Kart mechanics at the same time as well. Like you see when they first get into the Jungle Kingdom, you see the glider, and then on Rainbow Road, you see like Mario stomping on Koopas and like throwing the shells back, and like hitting people, and then like in the Jungle Kingdom, you see the bananas being thrown and people like hitting them. It's like just such a love letter, and it's you see the drifting, you see the anti-gravity, which when I saw that I was like, whoa, like I can't believe they did that. Like that was
they
really
went
cool as well.
all out. They went
they
all
did.
out with the different references in this movie. I've got nothing really left to say about this movie except again, I'll say this over and over again, the attention and detail on everything
is incredible.
The specifically,
it's the best
I think
thing about
the sound design. The sound design, they could have used like any sound effects or anything, but no, they went through the trouble of like finding specific sound effects that fit what they're doing. Like again, like I said, the item roulette sound effect and the ringtone. It could have been any ringtone, but they decided to use the GameCube startup sound. It's just like it made me so happy that they actually put effort into the movie instead of like what they could have done.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. Yeah. Also, another thing on the Mario Kart side, the blue shell, like of like Bowser's like second right hand man or whatever, that was great. Like you could see that it's like a Para Koopa or whatever. But like I saw the blue shell, but I didn't like register in my mind that like, oh my god, it could be a blue shell. So like when Mario like hits him or whatever, and like goes back, I kind of forget. And then like the Koopa kind of says like blue shell time or whatever, and then goes off with DK, and then like the blue shell hits them and like homes on them because they are in first place or whatever. They are the farthest like on the track, and it hits them like directly, and it breaks the Rainbow Road. It's like, God, like
it's crazy just like speaking these words out from like what actually happened in a movie the whole time. Like this was a Mario movie like I'm seeing like on screen. It was just like it was a very cool experience to go see that.
True.
Yeah.
I mean,
all right. Do we want to move on?
I'm just gonna quickly finish this and then
for sure.
There's two things. So obviously we got the post credit scenes. So the quote unquote post credit scene, like the mid credit scene or whatever, was that Luma, and you hear like the little like Galaxy jingle, which was like kind of cool. Kind of teases Rosalina. Also teased Rosalina when Mario, Peach, and Toad, I'm going back to the actual movie, were in like the field of like the fire flowers, and then they look up in the sky, and Peach says something along the lines of like, it really is like a vast galaxy out there. She didn't say vast, but I kind of forget. But anyway,
no, she said galaxy though.
It's
a whole universe
but like
of
galaxy universe of galaxies. That's what it was. Yep.
Yeah.
So another reference, and then looks up at the sky, and like you get that kind of feeling that like Galaxy is going to be involved. So what do you think of that? Like Mario Galaxy probably for the next movie, like they're going to go to Comet Observatory maybe? How is that going to work?
I'm a little nervous that we're just thinking too much into it on that scene, but also I
feel like it's so implied.
You think so?
Because they have the Luma like little like mid-credit kind of scene with like the jingle, and then like it's referenced, like they look up in the sky, and
I missed the jingle. I didn't realize that was a Galaxy jingle. I noticed that was a Luma, but I didn't notice that was like from Galaxy. So I'll have to go back and see that when I go and see it at some point.
I think there was maybe it wasn't there. Maybe it was like when the Luma showed up, like at the very end of the movie. Maybe it was that. Not sure. But I feel like it was somewhere. Somebody can correct me, please. But I feel like regardless if there's a Galaxy jingle or not, the Luma was in the movie. Like,
yeah, that's
like
true.
Rosalina is kind of synonymous with like Lumas. Like wherever a Luma is, Rosalina will be. So it's like, I feel like it's gonna happen eventually. Right.
Okay.
Second post credit.
Also, so wait, before we move on, you know how like it was like the existential Luma, where it's like we're all gonna die, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Weirdly, that comes back to Lumas, because Lumas, they eat starbits and then they become galaxies. You know, like they that's their goal. They want to, you know, die, I guess, and become a galaxy. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe that I'm thinking too much into that. But let's move on to the credit scene. So the mid credit scene, you got, you know, Bowser in his little cage playing on the piano, which was just another fun scene. I think they added. It doesn't hint at anything, but it just
also lets you know. It lets you know of like the fate of Bowser. Sorry to cut you off, but like it shows you like exactly where he is and like what happened, where they put him, instead of like having a question mark there. So that was good.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think that was a funny bit. Like back to him like playing the piano or whatever. It's like I first of all didn't expect Bowser to play the piano anyway. So like that was funny. But what'd you think of it?
And then of the Bowser or the
the Bowser thing,
scene. The Bowser
like
thing,
the Bowser bit,
I thought it was funny. I'm glad that Peach's scene was in the movie, because even though the movie's goofy, it like, I don't know. I thought it was enjoyable. I think some people didn't like it because it like made the movie too goofy, but I disagree, because it's, you know, again, it's a kids movie, it's a Mario movie, you know.
Exactly.
I was perfectly
Please
fine
get
with
over
it. Getting us more Jack Black, just kind of like, you know, just I think Jack Black was probably one of the better voice actors in this movie. And
agreed.
Anytime Bowser was on the screen, he stole the show, in my opinion. He was very, very good. I don't really have much to say about that.
Ever since the
trailer,
of like the initial trailer, where it was like like
it was
Bowser
cool
was saying,
because
like, open the gate,
but we were like, he could be menacing. He could be menacing, but he could also be like fun at the same time, which I don't know if that is a Bowser trait, but you know, Bowser is probably the most iconic like video game villain of all time, I'd have to say. And he, you know, Mario games are, you know, they're fun, they're not supposed to be taken seriously, so I think having a villain who is like, you know, again, he's menacing, but he also doesn't take himself too seriously, which I thought, you know, worked for this movie. So okay,
sure. You want to move
let's
on
talk about
to
that
the,
Yoshi egg.
Yeah. So I think it
cool.
got there after Mario put like the giant bullet bill in the pipe, and obviously like some of Mushroom Kingdom came over to like Brooklyn or whatever. So we see in like the original sewer where like Mario and Luigi got like stuck in the warp pipe or whatever and sent off. We see a Yoshi egg come back through, and it hatches, and you hear a little Yoshi sound at the end, and it's like, that's interesting, because we see that Mario and Luigi are in the Mushroom Kingdom at the end of the movie. Like they have like a house there, which is like pretty much in line with like the games, and it kind of comes all around where it's like, you know, they're living there now, and obviously they're plumbers in the Mushroom Kingdom, so whatever. So it was kind of weird, the fact that Yoshi is in Brooklyn. Like, I didn't really get that, but like regardless, I mean, we saw the Yoshis, we didn't have any chance to interact with them, but now we're seeing them. Like, great.
It wasn't really like, you know, because we know Yoshi exists. It wasn't one of those things, because we saw Yoshi like in Yoshi's plural like run in like a montage earlier in the movie. So it was like we knew they existed, but really what the scene like was, you know, portraying was that they have a plan to, you know, make more of these movies. There's like a little, having a teaser at the end gets you excited to like, you know, oh, they're gonna make more of these, which I think is great. I think it's great.
Yeah.
So.
Agreed.
There's not really much to the scene except, you know, Yoshi.
Just know.
The only thing I hope is that they don't give Yoshi like a voice actor with like lines, because that would creep me out if Yoshi like started talking.
Okay, that I so agree with you so much, because it's like, please, like Mario was like a little questionable, but it worked out. But please do not give the Yoshis a voice actor.
It should be like a Chewbacca.
The Yoshi sound. Exactly. Please.
That
would be great. That would be great.
Mm-hmm.
And like Peach and like other characters can like talk to them. Like
Yeah.
Just don't do it. It would be unbearable. Like the Toads, like, you know, normally it's like the hey or whatever you hear from like the new Soup games.
Yeah.
And like their little sound effects. But that worked out because like the Toads were like adorable, and you know, like Keegan-Michael Key or whatever.
The Toads talk in the games. They
wasn't
have
creepy.
Little, like text boxes. Yeah, it wasn't creepy. It worked. I think Keegan-Michael Key's voice actually worked perfectly for Toad because it was
great.
Like it honestly worked so well. Like I didn't know how they were going to do Toad because you couldn't do the whole Toad shtick the entire movie. But I think his voice was actually kind of perfect for Toad.
Agreed.
But yeah, I don't really have much else to say about the movie in my opinion. I think it did.
We talked about the spoilers for half an hour, and we talked about the non-spoiler for like I don't know 15 minutes.
I know. And now we have a third segment we got to talk about. Oh my god, bro. Oh my god.
Oh,
well, we're putting in the hours. We're putting in the hours, unlike Thomas.
We are. Wait, Thomas, what'd you think of the Yoshi?
Leave a comment. Oh man,
he's still asleep.
Yeah. Anyways, what do we got cooking, PJ?
You were gonna give us a nice little CTA, so go ahead, dude.
I was going to, but I actually didn't have anything to say. Unfortunately,
Okay.
I was gonna say put something in the comments, like but I had nothing to say. So how about this? Sure. I did this in my wins and fails video that went up literally 30 minutes ago. But tell us your favorite Easter egg from the movie, and we'll respond to as many as we can because I think that's probably the one thing in the movie that was kind of the coolest. Was all the Easter eggs. Mine personally was seeing Little Mac in the Punch Out Pizzeria or whatever it's called. I think it was called the Punch Out Pizzeria, but I'm not actually quite sure. So, what was your favorite?
That would be
Easter
pretty
egg,
cool.
PJ?
Ooh. Honestly, I think the Punch Out one was good as well. Like, I'm kind of with you there, just because it's so old, and like the fact that it got referenced like in and of itself is like sick. I'm sure there's other Easter eggs that like we probably missed, but like again, like we said, and we're not complaining, but the movie is very fast paced, so like you might like miss some things, in your first like initial watch. So be sure to leave a comment below. Your favorite Easter egg. If you have seen the movie, obviously, do that. And if you are enjoying the episode so far, be sure to hit that sub button and follow us on the audio platforms that you're listening on if you are not a visual viewer.
And rate and review, and
we will read a review.
Go to our Instagram. Go. We got an Instagram now. We got a TikTok. Oh my god,
we got it all.
We got a Facebook. Why do we have a Facebook?
I don't know, man.
Bro. Oh my
god.
Well, what's next? We're gonna have a WhatsApp. We're gonna have a MySpace page for Nintendo Tonight. We're gonna have it all, guys. We're gonna have a Tumblr page, a Reddit page, everything.
MySpace.
So I don't know. I'm just talking. I think it's getting off the rails. We gotta move on. We gotta move on.
Oh, it most definitely is. All right, so
you're like 2 years older than me, so I'm just okay.
Yeah, I know.
Final segment.
That's why I'm saying you're showing your age, which is actually even worse because I'm older than you. So anyway, final segment here. We are going to be ranking a bunch of Nintendo franchises, and we're gonna see which one is the best for like Mario or Nintendo movies in the future. Like what?
Yeah, like which ones? Which of the which of the Nintendo franchises would work best as a movie? Exactly. And how could they incorporate them to be together in like their own universe, like a Nintendo cinematic universe, or I don't know. We're just gonna go through it because we thought it'd be an interesting idea. So PJ, let's kick it off.
We are going to cook. We are gonna.
We can do this, PJ. We can podcast without Thomas for once. I swear, we are not.
We don't need that sleepy Thomas guy.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so boy. You want to just start from the left here, and we can kind of get our way in here.
Sure, why not?
All right. What are we thinking on Metroid? Because this is so interesting. Because in terms of like world building, there's a whole lot of different planets that like Samus travels to throughout like all of her games.
The interesting thing about Metroid
so interesting
is it's a lot more serious than what Mario is.
Yeah.
And if they're going to be using Illumination for their animation and their like production, I'm not really sure how they do a Metroid movie, in my opinion. I'm not quite
Yeah.
sure it would work out, in my opinion.
I feel like it would need a like much different studio, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Metroid needs to be like a lot more grittier. Like it's never been like this wholesome, like fun, like yay. It's always like you're going to planets to like kill things and kill like existential threats, you know?
I think it has the possibility to be a good movie, but I don't think where Nintendo's going with their movies, because you know they have the Nintendo Productions or whatever. I don't, or what is it? Nintendo Films? I don't know exactly what it's called.
Nintendo Pictures.
Nintendo Pictures. I was close. I think Metroid sits around C in my opinion because I think it's got potential, but I don't think it's actually possible to like make a movie with where Nintendo seems to be.
Yeah,
going,
I mean, like with Illumination, I just don't think it's possible because it's like,
yeah,
this is much more like kid friendly. Like a Metroid like anime would be kind of cool because you could like go crazy with that in terms of like making it like a lot more like grittier and like hardcore.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
Yeah. Splatoon.
All right, Splatoon.
This kind of falls in the line of kid friendly, I think.
Oh, I thought you were about to say the same as Metroid. Yeah, I think Splatoon definitely has it has definitely potential to be turned into a movie because I just feel like Splatoon is Nintendo's like hottest like new franchise. It's like the newest franchise on the block that's like successful. And it's not a household name like Mario, which is kind of unfortunate for it, but I think it's one of those where I think having a movie for it could actually drive the sales up even more of the Splatoon games. So it's also kid friendly. There's definitely stories they can play with it because the lore in Splatoon is actually insane. I'm gonna give it an A tier in my opinion. What are your thoughts on A tier?
Ooh. I mean, yeah, it's one of the biggest franchises. Also, apologies, visual viewers. PNG and black logos don't really work well. So, yeah, tough. But we're chilling.
You're gonna have to put that. Yeah.
We're chilling.
Anyways, yeah. I think Splatoon A tier works for me. It's probably not one of the more likely ones in my opinion because it's not like it's hard. It's hard to connect to Mario in my opinion because I think everything's gonna stem off Mario if they plan to do like a universe. But I think it's got potential, so that's why I'd like to give it an A.
Yeah, I mean, like the only real franchises that I think we could have movie representation of is like obviously like Mario, Pokemon, because we've had those two already, and then like Zelda and Smash. Like I feel like those are like the four that are like kind of realistic.
We've got them in there, so we'll go through there. But I definitely agree that the franchises that have connections to Mario will lead to
way more likely.
Are way more likely.
Yeah.
All right, next one up
Kirby.
is Kirby. Now here's the thing about Kirby, in my opinion. Kirby, besides Mario on here, let me look at this list. Besides Mario and probably like Donkey Kong, is the biggest household name in my opinion. Everyone really knows Kirby.
That's what I think I'm gonna do.
I think S is honestly a really good point, a really good place to put it. My only problem is I don't really know where they take a story with Kirby. What do you think?
I haven't really played a lot of the games, but I feel like there's definitely something there.
That's the thing with Kirby. Everybody knows Kirby, but nobody actually knows Kirby. If you know what I'm talking about. Like nobody
everybody knows of the character,
the Kirby games.
Not a lot of people play them.
Yeah.
It's not like Mario.
Yeah.
Like it makes sense.
Yeah.
But like S tier potential because like it's Kirby's like a cute little pink ball of fun. Like
I agree.
Can't go wrong. It's like a perfect Nintendo kind of thing, and like with Illumination, like I feel like that definitely is like very possible,
Yep.
Okay, this is really interesting, and I'll go on a quick little tangent about this.
Okay.
Star Fox, actually, in my opinion, Illumination aside, just like Nintendo like movies in general, has the most potential out of this like entire list because although the games are dead as hell, and they've been very bad and lackluster and just non-existent for a long time. Like the amount of like world building and like what you can do in the like so those games potentially is like amazing. Like you can go to different planets, like like Fox, Falco, Slippy, and the other dude that's like
characters
gray.
in Star Fox are so cool that it's just so disappointing that the games suck. Because I remember playing my first Smash game, Brawl, and I'm like, I would always pick Fox in Falco and
Fox
Wolf
or
because I
Wolf
just
for
thought
me,
they were.
yeah.
I thought they were
So
all
cool.
just such cool characters, and then
Yeah.
I was like, bro, I've got to play one of these Star Fox games. And I played. I don't know which one I played. I think the first one I actually played was Star Fox Zero, and it sucked.
Oh, what a bad
and
first
then,
experience. Damn.
And then I went on to play. I went on to play the Star Fox SNES game when it came to Nintendo Switch Online, and that game's not fun because it's old and it's a 3D SNES game. Like, what more can I say? Like, it wasn't. It's dated. But I think for a movie, it's got a couple things going for it and a couple things holding it back. Number one, I think the characters are cool enough to in the world is cool enough that you could make a movie out of it. I think the action sequences would be super cool. It'd be like an animated
dog fighting.
It'd be like an animated and like kids Star Wars, in my opinion. I think that's kind of where like my brain is going with this. But again, I don't think it's a recognizable enough franchise to make into like a movie that would sell well. So
I think it would thrive in like an anime kind of sense because there's so many different storylines you can do. Like, nobody really knows about the Star Fox games. Because again, nobody has played any of them except for like Star Fox 64, which is, in my opinion, because I've only played it that out of like the entire series. I haven't like touched Adventures or any of those games because they didn't like look appealing. There's a lot of ways you can go. Like you can go like the way of like Fox loses his dad early on and like now he's like leading like his team or whatever. It's been a really long time. So like if there are any like Star Fox fans that exists, I apologize. But like, you can play with that storyline. Like, I know. Yeah. And you can, like introduce Wolf because like that's a super cool character. Like again, in an anime sense, like done right in like a mature setting, I guess it would be great. Yeah. But again, like
I just don't think it's got the audience. That's the only problem. I don't think it's got the audience to pull numbers at the box office.
Just like the franchise has so much potential. Like I've wanted this for so long, honestly, but like I just don't think we're ever gonna see it. So I think I'm gonna just slap it in B.
I was gonna say B.
Because while we think it would be a great idea,
it's
just never gonna happen, and the series is just not as popular as it once was. So
for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
This is an interesting one. Animal Crossing.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah. How would this work? Tell us.
5 years ago, I would have said absolutely not. But after the COVID happened and Animal Crossing absolutely blew up with New Horizons, it's probably Nintendo's like third biggest franchise behind Mario and Pokemon, if I'm being completely
honest. And that's with them not updating the game anymore, and it's still.
I know it's actually crazy. But I think honestly, okay, I'm kind of stuck between S and A in my opinion.
For Animal Crossing?
I think it's such a recognizable brand. I
agree, but like
I don't know how the movie would work, but because there's really not like much of a story to Animal Crossing. Like I don't know how they turn that into a film.
Yeah, like it fits like the theme of like funny, like cute, kid friendly kind of idea, but like there's just like no substance there at all. Like it's just you have some like events or whatever.
It's Life Simulator except with animals. So
exactly. Like could I see an Animal Crossing like cartoon made for like?
But we're getting a Minecraft movie next year with Jason Momoa. So there's basically anything's possible. So did you see that? It literally just got announced that Jason Momoa I'm guessing he's gonna play Steve, right?
Good God. How?
That is the funniest thing I've ever seen. Oh my god.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, I think Animal Crossing more around an A. I think
totally disagree. I'm like so far away. I'm so far away from
where would you put it? Where would you put it?
Dude, I'm literally wanting to put this in F because like what would you do? Like I don't know what you would do. This is Animal Crossing.
Here's the thing.
Listen. This is Animal Crossing. You literally have no memory.
Words. No, it was 3 words. 4 words. It will sell tickets. That's all I gotta say. It's Animal Crossing. It's the third biggest Nintendo franchise. I think it's A.
This is how Animal Crossing works. You forget
I don't know
everything.
I don't
right?
know any. I don't think it's possible to make a good movie out of this, but it will sell tickets, which is
Is this a tier list of how many tickets it will sell, or is this a tier list of
how likely? It's how likely, in my opinion.
How about how likely and how well it will work? Can we not take both into account?
Okay, we'll talk about 3. We'll talk about how likely is it? Here, I can't find the camera. Okay, how likely is it? What is like? Will it have like a good story or whatever? And I don't know. I don't even know what we're doing here, if I'm being completely honest.
This is great. Sleepy Thomas, can you help us?
I guess he's still asleep.
He's still snoozing over there, man.
I'll be down. Here's the thing. I think.
Okay, I can maybe put it in C, but there's no way it can be above Metroid. It needs to go below.
You think below Metroid? Metroid will never happen. I'm just telling you right now. It will never happen.
Okay. Okay, so above Metroid, but we have to put it in C. This is how Animal Crossing works.
Okay,
you completely have no idea what's going on. You get dropped onto this random ass island, and you're having to like build things. And you're building an island for a bunch of random
what's that
people.
here? What's that here? You get dropped on a random island. You have to build things. Minecraft movie. Hello, Animal Crossing.
Oh, but like Minecraft has like actual different like mobs and like characters that you can like work around.
That's true.
And,
they
like,
got a creeper in that thing. Oh my god, it's so cool.
The actual concept of Minecraft is like so imaginable for like like media, like a movie or something like that. Like, but Animal Crossing, like you're literally paying debt to a crazy ass like what is he even, a raccoon? Tom Nook?
He's a Tanuki. He's a Tanuki.
True.
Yeah.
True. But like,
okay, I'll go see. I think as long as
while,
it's not F.
While it's one of the biggest franchises and everything like that, and like it would sell tickets, you're not wrong. Like I just like how would it?
It's fair.
Like I just don't get it. Okay, this has to be a high up one.
S.
DK. Yeah, because we see the Kongs in the Mario movie first of all, and like I loved them. Like Seth Rogen as DK was great. Cranky was pretty cool too. And wait, you know what I just realized?
What happened? What?
So like I was about to say 2 Donkey Kong characters, but we said when we were like going from non-spoiler to spoiler, we were saying actually go to the segment later so that you don't get spoiled. So that was actually close.
Spoiler alert. Here we go.
Okay, so you see Diddy and Dixie as well, right? In the crowd. So like those are like the main dudes, and you see Funky like in the car. So like those are like all of the main characters pretty much. Funky just is popular because of Mario Kart Wii is what it is, but like that's just
Funky
true.
Kong's the most overrated character in the entire like Nintendo franchise.
How dare you?
He's just a cool monkey. There's nothing like Donkey Kong's a cool monkey except this guy. He surfs and has sunglasses. Oh my god, bro, he's so
Donkey
dope.
Kong runs around with a tie. Funky Kong is infinitely cooler, and he looks exactly like DK. Funky is
Kong
cooler
is trying
DK.
too hard. Donkey Kong is trying too hard, in my opinion.
Oh my god. I can't believe you right now. I actually cannot believe you just said that.
Who do you guys think is right? Who do you think is cooler, Donkey Kong or Funky Kong? Leave that in the comments. I want to hear your guys' thoughts.
Yeah. We're going to be doing a poll everywhere too, so I'm just going to prove how right I am.
Not on Twitter, though.
Yeah, because who subs to Twitter Blue? Who does that? Come on, Elon.
Actually
anyway,
paying to be okay. Anyways,
back to
I keep getting us on tangents. I apologize.
If Sleepy Thomas was here, he would put us in line and actually get us on topic. But
you know what he did? He ate too much Dave's hot chicken. That's what happened.
Don't say that name around these parts, man. Do not say that name around these parts as if I'm not going to drive an hour to go get it. Don't say that,
I think DK is probably the number 1 on this list.
Yeah, because again, we saw the Kongs in the Mario movie. They were great.
Yeah.
Like, enjoyed everything about the Jungle Kingdom and, like, would love to see that more explored. So, like, a whole Donkey Kong movie would be great. Isn't there some sort of Donkey Kong series or something? Like, I feel like...
You don't want to look it up.
Why?
You don't... Because it's a musical. And it's like it's computer animation from like the like late 90s, early 2000s. It is one of those things.
I'm talking about something that was like I thought it was like announced. or not announced, but like talked about. Am I like losing it or like I don't know. I'll look that up. Oh, thanks, man. DK series.
I don't think. Yeah.
This just came up with books, dude. Like no Donkey Kong series. Movie.
Nothing, right?
Yeah. I think I was probably just baited by those clickbait YouTubers. Hashtag can't relate. Anyway,
okay.
So DK
DK's
number one. Okay,
yep.
We've decided that.
Yep.
Fire Emblem F. I'm kidding. Okay, so this. How do I feel about this? It'll never happen. The story is probably
all
okay
these series, they've got stories to tell.
Yeah,
but
because
I don't
you have like
think
this board game like RPG kind of thing going on. Because there has to be some like kind of story element that would be the only thing that saves this flaming hot piece of garbage. So, I'm saying that
my lighting just got terrible. I apologize.
I saw that. How dare you, man?
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, I just want to put it in F because like not only is it overrepresented in Smash for no reason at all.
I think
it just needs to be there. I think.
I think it could work well as like a anime or like a TV show or something. But for an Illumination film, when I look at all these, I'm looking at how likely is it that it gets turned into an Illumination film. I think Donkey Kong, I think Kirby, and I think Splatoon and Animal Crossing are the only ones likely of what we've ranked so far.
You know what? I think I'm gonna make a change. I think I'm gonna swap Star Fox with Animal Crossing. Thoughts? Because Star Fox and like Metroid are kind of in
it's
like
unfortunate
because
I think Star Fox would be a great
movie.
I think Star Fox would be a great movie, but I don't think it's possible.
Yeah.
I don't think it's possible. So.
Sure.
All right. Now
Pokemon I think goes
Pokemon
S.
is interesting. Yeah.
I think it goes S or high A because we've already seen Detective Pikachu, and while some of like the realism designs are kind of weird, like wait. Pokemon movies already exist.
That's a good point. But I think we should rank it as if it was an Illumination film. I think that's like how likely would an Illumination film be? How good would that film be? But
I hear you, but like they exist, and like I didn't think about that. So
yeah.
Okay. Luigi's Mansion. I think S as well because it's like heavily implied. Like Luigi gets sent to like the dark place. What I don't know what they called it. I think this is like literally so likely. I think this is more likely than DK. Maybe that's what I was hearing. Oh, the interview with Charlie Day and Chris Pratt. They were talking about like a possible like Luigi's Mansion like movie or whatever, and if they would like to see that. I think it's gonna happen. Like I was actually shocked we didn't at least see a hint.
That's
of
honestly
in the movie.
Super interesting you say that because I wasn't thinking it, but I think a Donkey Kong. I was thinking a Donkey Kong film would be like more likely because I feel like Donkey Kong is more of like a household name than Luigi is. Am I wrong for saying that? I think
I don't think you're wrong, but like everybody knows Mario and Luigi, but like Mario and DK were like together since the beginning, kind of thing.
Yeah,
you know?
But I think a Luigi's Mansion film after getting a Super Mario Bros. Movie, I think is kind of more likely. So yeah, I think moving Luigi's Mansion above DK is honestly fair.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yep. I mean, like it's like perfectly set up. They laid the groundwork for it. I mean, I'll say I was shocked that EGAD didn't even appear in the movie.
Yeah, I guess so.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Punch Out.
S. I
think it goes after Kirby because it's like bias, you know.
But Punch Out's in the film.
That's fair.
Little Mac exists in that universe, but we will never get a Punch Out movie.
You know what I forgot to put on this list?
It's not a big enough franchise. What?
This is the most scuffed segment of all time. Okay, so.
Bro, I look like one of those cookies you get at the supermarket.
Yeah, actually, dude, we are screwed without Sleepy Thomas. I swear to God, we're so screwed, man. We can never do this again. This is awful.
This was the best.
First of all, let me just go back here for a second. So first of all, I put Pokemon on the list, right? Which is like really stupid.
I was gonna say something, but I didn't say anything. That's my fault. I could have saved us. I could have stopped it. Yeah, so I could have saved her.
Pokemon movies already exist. I think there's literally 30 of them. I don't know how I forgot about all 30, but anyway. Yeah. Also, if you remember, after Mario storms off, at like the dinner table, for like his dad making fun of like the plumbing business, he goes upstairs, and what game
he plays
does he
on
play?
an NES. Wait, what game is it? I actually don't know.
He plays Kid Icarus.
It was Kid Icarus. I was right. I wasn't sure.
What's not on this list, Mac? Kid Icarus. But I put Pokemon when there's 30 movies. Immaculate. Yeah.
But here's the thing. Kid Icarus doesn't exist in that universe. Kid Icarus is a video game. It doesn't actually exist in the universe.
True, but what if it could be like an Easter egg kind of thing? Because it still was.
That's true. Yeah. It was neat.
Okay, we'll get to that. There's a lot of funny shorts that comes from this episode, so that's good. But yeah. I mean, we can ask for Thomas's opinion on the list when we're done fully filling this out. Okay.
Oh God, why do we have 5 in S and then like 5 everywhere else?
Okay, yeah. So I feel like we need to move something down.
I feel like I
just need to take. I need to take out Pokemon because I feel like I'm stupid.
I think we take out Pokemon. We put Luigi's Mansion in DK and S, and then Kirby and Punch Out in A.
Okay. So I feel like this is probably the way to go.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay. I think that's good. Okay, let's do Zelda.
I feel like Smash is also S. Okay, sure.
Zelda, I think around Animal Crossing. I think B, because I feel
like better than it. Yeah, because again, like it depends where they go with it. Like they can either do like a Wind Waker art style kind of idea, or they can go with like I don't know. Zelda games are not really known for like this insane violence, but like they're not very kid friendly also.
Zelda is like the second Nintendo franchise behind Mario, but it's also like not as popular like in the minds of the public as things like Kirby or Animal Crossing. So, or even Splatoon at this point. I feel like Splatoon has like eclipsed Zelda in the public, like no, actually no, I think Zelda's still probably more well known, but I don't think it would work for an Illumination film, but I think a Zelda film in particular could work. Because I think Zelda has the possibility to have a good story. I think a Zelda film that actually like a lot of effort goes into could be actually so good.
Agreed.
But I don't think it could fit in a universe of Nintendo characters.
Yep. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Smash Bros. Ultimate, or just Smash Bros. In general. Smash Bros. Yeah. I mean, I think it has to be S because like there's like it's everything. It has to. Like I feel like it's just right here.
It's the Avengers Endgame of the Nintendo universe if there were
imagine.
So
imagine
if we get a Super Smash Brothers movie, I will literally. What am I gonna do?
Oh God! Don't say it.
I will literally buy out the entire theater for the opening day and watch it in an empty theater by myself. How much money would that be? It's probably like, if I'm buying adult tickets, probably like $13 a person. And how many seats are in a theater? Probably like 100. So, oh God, that's like $1,000.
Yeah, I really don't think that's worth it.
Yeah, but I don't think we'll ever get a Super Smash Brothers movie, even though I really want one. So, I think it's worth.
All right, so
at that point, this movie should come out like in 28. If we're killing it on YouTube, then if the podcast pops off, then it should be like changed to me.
Yeah, I mean
oh boy, Thomas is gonna hate this episode.
Oh yeah, for sure. Actually, we can ask him. Thomas, what do you think? Still sleeping, dude.
That bit isn't funny anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so this is our full list. We're going a bit crazy on the time. This is what I was gonna say before this.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say is when the podcast pops off, I was gonna say that may be true one day, but definitely not with this episode. This is gonna flop like some fish for sure. Good God, like it's just
some
awful,
cheap cheaps,
Yeah, some cheap
flopping
cheeps.
around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly what I was thinking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a scuffed
Okay.
episode.
I like the list. What could we expect? I'm in a different setup. Thomas, he's still asleep. PJ's the only, he's the podcast guy. So
yeah, there's just
got
no
everything
excuses
right.
at this point. Yeah, I mean, who knows? Yeah. So this is our list. We'll read it out from F to S really quick for the audio viewers, visuals,
The audio losers.
audio listeners. Jesus. Yeah, we got to get off. All right. So Fire Emblem at F, as it should be.
Yeah.
At C, we got Star Fox and Metroid. At B, we got Zelda and Animal Crossing. At A, we have Kirby, Punch-Out, and Splatoon. And for S, we got Luigi's Mansion, Donkey Kong, and Super Smash Bros. So
That looks
again,
good to me.
that was a list for, what franchises would we like to see on the big screen, what would work, etc. So yeah, I mean, that
We'll
was
sell
pretty fun.
tickets.
Yeah, that was. Stop it, man.
God,
I mean,
this
that was pretty fun, but
It was fun. It was fun.
it definitely could have been executed better for sure. Yeah. So.
I apologize. I think I'm the
think you goofed
tangent
it a little
master.
bit?
I feel. I think the
Yeah.
problem is it's usually you and Thomas holding me back from going off on tangents, and with it just you here today, I don't think. I feel like I ran the podcast off the rails a bit too much, but hopefully
It
they like
happens,
that.
man.
Leave a comment. Another call to action. Leave a comment if you like the tangents, because I personally enjoy them a lot.
Yeah. I mean, the sponsors probably won't like it because there's not a lot of shorts to be got, but hey, who knows? #ad. Anyway, this was episode 44 of Nintendo Tonight. Mac is
Or was
losing
it?
it over there, so yeah.
Can
This
I
was
do the outro?
sure, man. Go ahead.
All right, thanks everybody for watching episode 44 of Nintendo Tonight. If you enjoyed, please hit like, subscribe, go to our Omegle, and we'll talk to you in the next episode on episode 45.
No, we won't do that. We will not do that. We won't do that. We won't do that. Okay.
That's a great idea for an episode. I gotta say.
It's an awful idea. Actually,
I'm gonna let Thomas know after he wakes up. I think that's honestly such a good episode idea.
Okay.
Okay.
Hopefully
Thanks
he
everybody
wakes
for
up
watching.
and
We'll see you in the
puts-
next episode.
puts a stop
Bye.
to your madness. Good God.